Hey, John Hickok here. In my hands I have a beautiful work of art known as the M1 carbine. This particular one was made by Inland in 1943, and it's just a great gun. My interest in this gun, of course, comes from an interest in World War II in general, which I believe I share probably with a lot of people. Um, and some of that comes from the fact that I had grandparents that fought in World War II, a grandmother actually. But my grandfather's on both sides, and one of my grandmothers were involved in World War II. One of them I know for sure actually carried one like this because he was a driver of the amphibious units. They called them ducks, and he was actually part of the Normandy invasion. And I don't know if he had it with him on that day, but I know he had one of these. He was in a trucking company. So that's where a lot of my interest in World War II came from as a kid. And then Dad was also interested in World War II, so he had several World War II guns. And this was a gun as a smaller child that it was easy for me to shoot because it's kind of short, it's small, it doesn't have an excessive amount of recoil. While it does have more recoil than you think it might, but it's not excessive or anything. And it was just an easy gun for me to kind of operate and shoot when I was a kid. And you know, since I loved World War II, I loved this gun and shot it a ton. Now, this particular one is one Dad picked up recently. There was another one that we had out here a minute ago, which you'll see in the video of this gun, or you can look at old videos. And it was one that was refurbished for Korea, and it's got a different sight on it. It's got the bayonet lug and everything. Which I'll tell you a story on that actually while I've got you here. So the other M1 carbine that Dad had that I grew up with had a bayonet lug on it. And Dad bought this, I think it was a reproduction M1 carbine bayonet, and I had put it on there. And you know, the weird thing about bayonets sometimes, which makes them tricky, is that you have to depress this like little spring action to disconnect it from where it hooks up down here at the actual lug, and it's got this circle that goes over the end of the barrel, which kind of holds it on. So it's kind of hard to grab that and then also pull the bayonet off. Also, part of it being like I was 9 years old, so I wasn't thinking, and I think I was kind of squatting down and had the butt against the floor, and I just grabbed the bottom part and just pulled it up, and of course the top slid off, and then the knife kind of did this, just went all the way down and just landed right on my knee. And I still have that scar today, so I have a bayonet wound in my leg, and I feel like that gives me some amount of street cred. So all right, stop yakking and shoot this thing. Also remind you guys how much I appreciate all the help we get from Federal Ammo, Federal Cartridge Company. They keep us in ammo. That's what we're shooting here today. Also SDI, you can check them out at sdi.edu. You know, they can get different degrees in the firearms industry. Just go to their website. So appreciate all those folks, and also having this great gun and this nice weather for January. Let's see. These things hit kind of hard, so I'm not going to really shoot the close targets so much. Go for maybe some bowling pins. Let's see. I'm going to try the red plate up there. Okay, I'm going high. All right, now I'm going to try the one over there on the right. There you go. The sights on these things are great. Once you figure out where it's hitting, you know, easy to shoot. You can also crank the rounds out pretty fast too. Malfunction. Old guns have old gun problems. All right. All right, sweet. Now there's also what was called the M2 carbine, which was the full auto version of this gun, which I imagine was a handful. Because like I said, the recoil is not excessive with these things, but it's noticeable just because of how light these guns are. So a full auto version, I imagine it had a pretty fast rate of fire. Let's see, pop some of these tin cans here. And this thing really would have been kind of the AR-15 of its day in some ways. Yeah, such a neat gun. Little side note, it's also listed as the zombie weapon of choice in the classic zombie survival guide. So this thing has a lot of history, and just with World War II, and you know, it's been in a lot of movies. I'm thinking there was some iconic bank robbery or movie that had this gun. I can't think of what it was called. I can never remember the names of movies when I'm on camera, but just a beautiful gun. Just thought you guys might want to take a look at it. Definitely check out the other videos on the main Hickok 45 channel if you don't know much about the M1 carbine. Sweet gun, and I'll leave you guys with that. Appreciate it.